Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're stepping past, just the numbers and the scale. We want to explore something really crucial, the landscape after weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. We're diving deep into some really insightful reflections, mainly inspired by Dan Hollis's work. And we're focusing on that whole psychological side of
Like
things.
inner world stuff.
Exactly. Identity, grief,
Hmm.
what emotional hunger really means, and how support and, well, building a new narrative for yourself
Mm-hmm.
are just essential, completely essential.
Right. So our mission here really is to try and unpack what Dan Hollis actually means when he says that phrase, weight loss is biology, staying there is narrative. And
Yeah.
why understanding that is, well, it could be a game changer, whether you're going through this yourself or maybe helping someone
That's a
else.
huge distinction. Let's get into it.
Okay, so that core idea from Hollis, weight loss is biology, staying there is narrative. That feels like the bedrock, doesn't it, for everything
It
else?
really does, because it acknowledges the physical part, obviously, the biology, the calorie stuff, metabolism,
Mm.
all that's real. But it pivots immediately to the long game, which isn't just about the body anymore. It's about what's going on inside, your identity, the story you tell yourself about the change.
And the sources, they really highlight something you just don't see in the usual before and after pictures, do you?
Not at all.
They talk about this identity grief, that feeling some people apparently get of like, I have no idea who I am without this struggle. Wow.
It's that quiet that settles in after all the initial congratulations fade.
Yeah.
Those photos, they show an endpoint, a result. But what these insights reveal is that inside, things are still shifting
Hmm.
massively. When something that's been a huge part of how you see yourself, maybe for decades, your weight, your relationship with food, when that changes externally, it can leave you feeling, well, kind of lost or confused inside.
Yeah.
A real sense of disorientation.
Because let's face it, for a lot of people, food or maybe their weight, it wasn't just fuel, it was tangled up in how they coped, their routines.
Maybe even how they navigated the world, how they felt seen or invisible.
Right. And when the physical part changes, those deeper patterns, the reasons behind it all, they don't just evaporate overnight.
No way. And the sources put it so well, hunger doesn't just vanish, it shapeshifts.
Shapeshifts. How so?
Well, it can become like a memory popping up. Yeah. Or it fuels confusion. It leaves this space where the old habits, the old automatic responses used to be. And if you don't understand that space or figure out how to fill it constructively, that's where the real challenge can start.
Okay, let's lean into that. That space and how hunger itself looks different. The sources make a really key distinction here.
They absolutely do. You've got physical hunger, right?
Right.
The stomach growling, feeling empty. We all know that one.
Yep.
But then there's what Dan Hollis calls emotional hunger. And it shows up very differently.
And he has that amazing line, the one that just cuts through it all. Emotional hunger sounds like a craving, but it's actually a question, a need asking to be seen.
That framing is just, it's so powerful
Mm.
because it forces us to question our automatic reaction. We feel something inside. Maybe we're tired, lonely, stressed out, overwhelmed, even just bored.
Right. Any of those things.
And because maybe historically we've used food to kind of numb or distract from those feelings,
Hmm.
our brain just goes to the learned response, craving.
Hmm.
And we think it's physical hunger, but it's not. It's what the sources call signal confusion.
Signal confusion. I like that. So the craving isn't the real issue. It's just the language our body knows for some feeling we haven't quite named yet.
Precisely. And when food stops being the easy, automatic answer, maybe because of choices we're making, or maybe the biological drive is weaker for some reason.
Then you can feel, as the source puts it, incredibly exposed. Like the
Yeah.
emotional scaffolding you relied on is suddenly gone.
Yeah, exposed is a good word for it. Which leads directly to the practical bit, doesn't it? Okay, I feel this space, I feel exposed. I'm starting to see this craving might be a question.
So what do I do?
Exactly. And Dan talks about this active process of building, creating new scaffolding. It means being really intentional about stitching new rituals into old routines, as he puts it.
Consciously building new ways to respond, new ways to just be.
Yes. And a huge part of that building process is changing your relationship with those internal signals.
Yeah.
Stop seeing hunger or that craving as some kind of villain you have to fight.
Or like an enemy to beat with willpower.
Right. Instead, try seeing it as a signal, a messenger maybe, from somewhere inside, telling you that something deeper needs naming.
That shift is huge. It turns it from a battle into an investigation. Like, okay, signal, what are you really about?
Spot on. And this is where support from outside becomes so incredibly important. Dan calls it neurobiological scaffolding. Sounds technical, but
It just means it's like the framework for building something new
yeah,
inside, right?
exactly. Having people or practices or resources, things that help you just hold space for these feelings, figure out what the signals mean, build those new responses. The sources frame it as structural. It's not just nice to have. It's kind of necessary for the change to stick.
Okay, we definitely need to talk about how medications like semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy fit into this because they're a big part of the weight conversation now. How do they connect with this biology versus narrative idea?
Well, they work squarely on the biology side. They're GLP-1 receptor agonists, developed for diabetes, but yeah, found to cause significant weight loss. They work partly by slowing down how quickly your stomach empties, and they dampen appetite signals from the brain.
So they turn down the volume on that biological hunger noise.
Pretty much. They directly address the biology part of Dan's equation.
Okay.
They provide what Hollis describes as a pause, a noticeable slowing of appetite, a definite reduction in the noise.
Hmm.
But, and this is the crucial point, the sources hammer home semaglutide doesn't solve emotional hunger.
Ah, okay. So it might quieten the physical urge that used to send you to the fridge,
Yeah,
but it doesn't actually answer the underlying question that the craving was masking.
exactly right. What it can do, potentially, is create the silence that lets you find one,
Hmm.
find the answer to that emotional need. So the real power, according to these sources, isn't just the appetite suppression itself. It's the opportunity it creates
An opportunity to do what?
to rebuild your identity, your behaviors, your emotional awareness, while the biological cravings are taking a step back.
So it's like it buys you breathing room, time, and mental space to do that deeper psychological narrative work we were talking about.
That seems to be the idea.
Yeah.
But the sources also give a warning here.
Ooh.
That quiet space, it can also feel dangerous or unsettling if those buried emotional stories, those unanswered questions, aren't actually looked at and addressed.
Because the silence lets the truth come up.
Yeah. Which brings us neatly to what Dan Hollis calls the real work. He says it doesn't actually start when you begin losing weight. It starts when you stop eating food to explain your feelings.
Wow.
He puts it very directly. When the cravings stop, the truth begins.
So that means really developing discernment, learning to tell the difference between, what did the sources call it? True hunger from signal confusion.
Exactly. Asking yourself, is my stomach actually empty? Or is this something else entirely? Loneliness, stress, boredom.
And then meeting those signals, those cravings with insight, not impulse, pausing.
Getting curious. Genuinely asking, okay, what am I really hungry for right now?
And being open to the fact that the answer might have nothing to do with food.
Absolutely. Because dealing with emotional hunger, healing it, it needs a totally different toolkit than just, counting calories or planning workouts.
Right, it's not about macros.
No. The sources emphasize it requires empathy towards yourself, deep awareness of what's going on inside you, and honestly, the courage to explore that question behind the craving. It's about understanding yourself on a much deeper level.
So what Dan Hollis is offering here, based on these sources, it's not just another diet plan. It's language, scaffolding, and narrative memory. Tools to help people genuinely come home to themselves in this new reality they've created physically. That really reframes the whole thing.
It does, and it ties the biology and the psychology together so neatly. Yes, weight loss can change your body, your physical form, but as the source material puts it, only story can change your future.
And that brings us back to that critical warning that connects it all.
Which one?
Biology will give you results that psychology will dismantle if that narrative work of building that internal scaffolding, if that's not done.
Right. If you only focus on the biology, the unaddressed questions, the roots of the emotional hunger, they're still there, just waiting in that quieter space.
And they could potentially undermine the physical changes.
That seems to be the risk. It just makes it so clear that this journey, however you approach it, it isn't just about eating less. That's the biology part. Fundamentally, it's about living more, building a richer, more self-aware internal life that can actually support the physical changes long term.
It really does leave you thinking, doesn't it, about your own inner world. If those cravings, even the quieter ones, if they really are signals, what are your cravings trying to tell you when the biological noise isn't shouting so loud? What's the question hiding in there for you?
That's definitely something worth sitting with.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive today.